Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dread Time Stories. I'm your host, Dr. Phobia, and tonight our story comes from the literary series Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So sit back, relax, and enjoy High Beams. Jenny left the bar at 1 a.m., headed for home. As she drove down a deserted highway, she noticed a lone pair of headlights quickly approaching her car from behind. When they came closer, she noticed that they were going to overtake her. As the car drew up beside her, suddenly the driver swerved back behind her car. She was starting to get nervous and kept an eye on the stranger in the rearview mirror. He pulled up dangerously close to her bumper and began to flash his high beams at her. The headlights dimmed for a moment, but then the high beams flashed again, and the car began to surge forward. The car followed her very, very closely, and on tight curves or over hills, he would flash his high beams on and off. The frightened woman struggled to keep her eyes on the road and fought the urge to keep looking at the car behind her. Finally, she approached her exit, but the car continued to follow, flashing the high beams again and again. She looked terrified at her phone and dialed 911. When the operator answered, she screamed into the phone, "A car is following me. He keeps tailgating and he's blinking his lights at me." She gave her address, and a few minutes later she saw the red and blue lights of a police car in the distance. She breathed a sigh of relief as she pulled into her driveway, but suddenly the strange car pulled into her driveway behind her and began blinking his lights on and off like a maniac. The police car screeched to a halt in front of the woman's front lawn, and two officers jumped out with their guns drawn. They pulled the man out of the car and forced him to lie on the lawn. They handcuffed him as he screamed, "There's someone in the car! There's someone in her car!" The two policemen suddenly pointed their guns in the woman's direction and fired. The woman screamed, but when she turned around, she saw the bloody corpse of her murderer fall out of her back seat. There was a large butcher knife still clasped in his cold, dead hand. The police searched her back seat and found duct tape, a blindfold, and a pair of handcuffs lying there. The woman realized that the man in the car had been trying to save her. When the police released him, he explained that as he pulled up behind her car with his headlights, they lit up the back seat, and he had seen the man with the butcher knife raising up behind her. And just as the madman was about to stab her, he flashed his high beams, and the figure crouched back down. "I flashed my high beams every time I saw him raise his knife," the man told her. That was High Beams. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening. Like I always say in closing, check under your bed, look in your closet, and sleep with the light on. The life you save may very well be your own. Good night, everyone.